Some stories begin quietly, no explosions, no dramatic entrances, no shouting crowds, just a small moment in a regular place. A moment that should have gone unnoticed, but didn't. This story starts in a family restaurant on a warm Saturday afternoon. Nothing fancy, just the kind of place where people laugh over burgers, kids scribble on coloring sheets, and waiters carry trays that always seem a little too full. But even ordinary places can become the starting point for something extraordinary when kindness steps into the room. On this particular day, a billionaire, one of the richest women in the state, though nobody recognized her at first, sat alone at a corner booth. She wasn't looking for attention. In fact, she had come there hoping for silence, for a break from meetings, deadlines, and the heavy pressure of being someone everyone expects to be perfect. But then she noticed a single father walk in with his two little kids, a tired man, a worried man, a man doing everything he could to hide how hard life had become. The kids bounced with excitement, pointing at the menu full of pictures, whispering to each other about pancakes and fries. He forced a smile, but it wasn't the smile of someone who could afford the things the menu offered. What she saw next seemed small, but it changed everything. He looked at the waiter and quietly ordered only water for his children. What she did after that would make an entire room fall silent and leave people crying long after they heard the story. Now, let's begin. The restaurant wasn't crowded yet, but the buzzing of conversations, clattering dishes, and cheerful music filled the air with a comfortable warmth. At the far corner booth, Eleanor Drake, billionaire CEO of Drake Innovations, sat with a pen in hand, pretending to read the contracts in front of her. Truthfully, she was exhausted. She had spent the whole week cleaning up a disaster caused by one of her company's partner firms. She had barely slept, barely eaten, barely breathed. Her assistant begged her to take a day off, so she slipped into this small family restaurant she used to visit as a child, before everything in her life became complicated. She wanted peace. She wanted to remember what normal felt like. But life had other plans. Eleanor glanced up just in time to see a man in worn jeans and a faded hoodie walk in, holding the hands of two little kids, a boy about 7 and a girl maybe 5. Their eyes sparkled as they scanned the room. The boy whispered, "Dad, can I get the pancakes?" The girl tugged her dad's sleeve and added, "And maybe the strawberry ones?" Their father gave them a smile that was gentle but strained, the kind of smile that hides more than it reveals. "Let's sit first, okay?" he told them. He led them to a booth 2 tables away from Eleanor. She tried to turn back to her paperwork, but the silence from their table caught her attention. The kids were studying the menu like it was treasure. Their father, however, wasn't even looking at it. He stared at the table instead, eyes tired, shoulders slumped. When the waiter came over, he lifted his head and cleared his throat. "We'll just start with 3 waters, please." Just that. Even his voice seemed apologetic. The kids instantly stopped talking about pancakes. They exchanged a look that broke something in Eleanor's chest. The boy asked quietly, "Are we, not eating today?" The dad swallowed hard. "We'll see, buddy, maybe later." Eleanor didn't mean to stare, she didn't want to intrude, but she saw something in that man that reminded her of her own father years ago, before her family struck success, when every meal was a careful balancing act and every bill a battle. The waiter left. The kids sat silently, kicking their legs, pretending not to be hungry. Eleanor closed her folder. She had made billion-dollar decisions without blinking. But this moment, this hit her heart in a way she couldn't ignore. She called over the waiter. "Do you see that man and his kids?" she whispered. The waiter nodded. "I want you to bring them anything those kids want, and put it on my tab. But don't tell them it's from me." The waiter hesitated. "Are you sure, ma'am?" "Absolutely," she said. "And add dessert, both of them." The waiter grinned and hurried off. Meanwhile, at the other table, the dad looked guilty even before any food arrived. His daughter traced shapes on the table with her finger. The boy's stomach growled, and he crossed his arms over it, embarrassed. Then the food came. Plates of pancakes, fruit bowls, little chocolate chip waffles shaped like bears. The kid's eyes widened. "Dad?" The father looked shocked. "There must be a mistake," he stammered. "No mistake," the waiter said gently. "This is for you." "But I didn't order. It's all taken care of." The man blinked rapidly, trying to understand. His daughter tugged his sleeve. "Daddy, can we really eat this?" He nodded slowly. still stunned. Yeah, baby, go ahead. They dug in like they hadn't eaten a full meal in days, because maybe they hadn't. Eleanor watched discreetly. This is the best thing ever. His sister giggled with syrup on her chin. Their father finally took a bite too, hesitant, grateful, emotional. But while Eleanor expected relief to wash over her, she saw something else instead. A shadow behind the father's eyes. A deeper sadness. A struggle that wasn't solved with one meal. And something told her this moment was only the beginning. As she watched the family finish their meal, she didn't notice someone at another table staring at her. A middle-aged woman with sharp eyes and a phone in her hand. She recognized Eleanor immediately. But Eleanor remained unaware. Her focus was on the dad, who was now standing at the counter, quietly arguing with the waiter. Please, the man insisted. I don't want trouble. I didn't order that food. Someone will get in trouble because of me. The waiter shook his head. Sir, it's paid for. Just accept it. The man's shoulders trembled, not in anger, just exhaustion. He pressed a hand to his face. I can't accept charity. My kids, they already think I can handle everything. Eleanor finally stood. She couldn't stay silent anymore. She approached him with soft steps. Excuse me, she said gently. You're not taking charity. You're giving someone an opportunity to be kind. The father turned. He looked surprised, but also embarrassed. Cheeks flushed. I didn't want anyone to feel sorry for me, he whispered. Eleanor shook her head. No one feels sorry for you. They respect you. It takes strength to show up for your kids even on hard days. His eyes glistened. Thank you, he murmured. You have no idea how much this means. Oh, Eleanor said softly. I think I do. She didn't explain, and he didn't ask, but their story was far from over, because what Eleanor learned later, what she discovered about this man and what he was hiding, would turn a simple act of kindness into something much bigger, something life-changing, something that would make people everywhere cry when they heard the full story. The restaurant door closed behind them, but Eleanor couldn't shake the feeling that the story wasn't meant to end there. She'd expected to pay for a meal, offer a soft smile, and go back to her paperwork. But the man's eyes, tired, grateful, afraid, stayed with her long after he left, and something inside her refused to let it go. She packed her files, paid her bill, and stepped outside. The late afternoon sun poured gold on the pavement. She scanned the sidewalk. The father and his kids were walking slowly toward a bus stop, the girl riding on her brother's back while he laughed. They looked happy now, but happiness built on hunger never lasted long. She hesitated, wondering if she should follow. She didn't want to seem intrusive, but then the boy stumbled, and the dad knelt to tie the loose shoelace with a tenderness that hurt to watch. His hands shook slightly, the kind of shake that comes from stress or hunger, or both. That was enough. Eleanor walked toward them. Excuse me? She called softly. The dad turned. He recognized her from the restaurant, and his face tightened, not in anger, but in embarrassment. Ma'am, thank you again, really, but you didn't have to. I know I didn't, she said kindly, but I wanted to, and I'm not here to pry. I just noticed things seemed tough. If there's anything you need, anything I can do, he quickly shook his head. We're fine. But the way he said fine was the exact way someone says they're drowning. The little girl tugged his sleeve. Daddy, can I tell her, please? No, sweetheart, he whispered. We don't share family problems with strangers. Eleanor knelt to the girl's level. Your dad's right. You don't have to tell me anything, but I'm here if you ever want to. That was when the boy spoke. Dad lost his job. The father's breath caught. Evan. The boy rushed on, determined. He's been trying really hard. He used all our money on the bills and the medicine for Lily's asthma. We haven't eaten in a real place in forever, but Dad said today would be special. He said we'd at least get water, so it would feel like we bought something. The father closed his eyes. The kids looked from him to Eleanor, worried they'd made things worse. But all Eleanor felt was something warm and fierce, compassion. She stood slowly. Can we sit for a few minutes? She asked. The dad hesitated, then nodded. They sat on the bench at the bus stop. Cars passed, the world moving on as if nothing life-changing was unfolding right there. My name is Eleanor, she said gently. He nodded. I'm Daniel. This is Evan and Lily. They exchanged soft smiles. After a moment, Daniel sighed. I don't want pity. I'm doing my best. I know you are, she said, and she meant it. He rubbed his forehead. I had a good job, construction manager, but the company closed. I've been looking ever since. No one wants to hire someone short-term when the industry is slow. I do deliveries when I can, but my car broke down last month. So, buses and walking now. Evan added, Daddy walks a lot, sometimes at night. Daniel winced. We're managing, but it's tight. Eleanor's mind was already racing, not with judgment, but with ideas, opportunities, solutions. But something else caught her attention. Wait, she said slowly, you said your company closed? Daniel nodded. Yeah, Drake Construction Group. They were partners with some big corporation. The partnership fell apart. Everything collapsed. Eleanor's heart dropped. Drake Construction Group, the partner company he meant, was hers. Drake Innovations, her company, her partnership fallout, her signature on the termination documents. She had unknowingly played a role in this man's hardship. Her throat tightened. Daniel, can I ask you something? He laughed bitterly. Because I don't have the qualifications they want. And someone like me, I don't think they'd look twice. Eleanor swallowed. If only he knew who he was talking to. She took a slow breath. What if I told you they would look twice? And that someone like you might be exactly what they need? He stared at her, confused. Why are you helping me? She hesitated. I believe people deserve a chance, she said quietly, especially when life has been unfair to them. He looked at her for a long moment. Eleanor, he said softly, you don't know us. You don't know what we've been through. She nodded. Maybe not. But I know what it's like to struggle, and I know what it's like when someone gives you a chance. It happened to me. Now I want to do the same. Silence settled between them. Then the bus approached. Lily grabbed her father's hand. Daddy, bus! Daniel stood, unsure whether to say goodbye or something more. Eleanor handed him a small business card. Come to this address Monday morning, she said. Ask for me. I'll be there. He looked at it. His eyes widened. Shock washed over his face. Drake Innovations? He whispered. Wait, are you? Eleanor nodded gently. Yes. He was speechless. I'm not promising magic, she said, but I'm promising a real chance. The kids hugged her legs without warning. Thank you, they said in unison. Her smile wobbled. You're welcome? The bus doors opened. Daniel stepped inside slowly, still staring at her card like it was a lifeline he'd never expected to receive. Before he sat down, he looked at her through the window. Thank you, he mouthed. She nodded again. The bus pulled away, but Eleanor stood there long after it disappeared. Her office was busy, assistants moving around like bees. Meetings lined her schedule. Investors wanted answers. Employees needed approvals. Yet Eleanor waited by the lobby window. Every few minutes, her foot tapping with nerves she didn't recognize. What if he didn't show? What if she scared him away? What if offering a hand had reminded him of all the times someone had taken advantage of his vulnerability? But then, the front doors opened, and there he was. Daniel, clean but still in old clothes, nervous, hands shaking slightly, but walking with purpose. The kids were with him, both holding lunchboxes. They waved at her through the glass wall. She grinned and waved back. Her assistant walked over. Ms. Drake, your meeting and... Cancel it, she said. The assistant blinked. Ma'am? Cancel everything until further notice. She stepped out of her office and walked toward the family. Daniel straightened. I wasn't sure you meant it, he admitted. I did, she said warmly. Let's talk. She guided them into a small meeting room where she had arranged snacks, coloring books, and juice boxes for the kids. They gasped with excitement and rushed to the table. Daniel blinked. You didn't have to... Yes, she said softly. I did. They sat. I believe people deserve a chance, she said quietly, especially when the life has been unfair to them. He looked at her for a long moment. Eleanor, he said softly, you don't know us. You don't know what we've been through. She nodded. Maybe not, but I know what it's like to struggle, and I know what it's like when someone gives you a chance. It happened to me. Now I want to do the same. Silence settled between them. Then the bus approached. Lily grabbed her father's hand. Daddy, bus! Daniel stood, unsure whether to say goodbye or something more. Eleanor handed him a small business card. Come to this address Monday morning, she said. Ask for me. I'll be there. He looked at it. His eyes widened. Shock washed over his face. Drake Innovations, he whispered. Wait, are you… Eleanor nodded gently. Yes. He was speechless. I'm not promising magic, she said, but I'm promising a real chance. The kids hugged her legs without warning. Thank you, they said in unison. Her smile wobbled. You're welcome. The bus doors opened. Daniel stepped inside slowly, still staring at her card like it was a lifeline he'd never expected to receive. Before he sat down, he looked at her through the window. Thank you, he mouthed. She nodded again. The bus pulled away, but Eleanor stood there long after it disappeared. Her office was busy, assistants moving around like bees. Meetings lined her schedule, investors wanted answers, employees needed approvals. Yet, Eleanor waited by the lobby window every few minutes, her foot tapping with nerves she didn't recognize. What if he didn't show? What if she scared him away? What if offering a hand had reminded him of all the times someone had taken advantage of his vulnerability? But then, the front doors opened, and there he was. Daniel, clean but still in old clothes, nervous, hands shaking slightly, but walking with purpose. The kids were with him, both holding lunch boxes. They waved at her through the glass wall. She grinned and waved back. Her assistant walked over. Ms. Drake, your meeting in… Cancel it, she said. The assistant blinked. Ma'am? Cancel everything until further notice. She stepped out of her office and walked toward the family. Daniel straightened. I wasn't sure you meant it, he admitted. I did, she said warmly. Let's talk. She guided them into a small meeting room where she had arranged snacks, coloring books, and juice boxes for the kids. They gasped with excitement and rushed to the table. Daniel blinked. You didn't have to. Yes, she said softly. I did. They sat. Eleanor placed a folder on the table. I reviewed your old company files. You were a top project manager. Your performance scores were exceptional. We need someone like you. His eyes filled. Are you saying I can work here? I'm saying, she replied, you can start tomorrow. He covered his face with his hands. His shoulders shook, not with sadness, but with relief so powerful it made Eleanor's heart ache. Thank you, he whispered. You're giving my family hope again. No, she said gently. You're giving yourself hope. I'm just opening a door you deserve. He wiped his eyes. I won't let you down. You won't, she said without hesitation. The kids ran over and hugged him. Lily whispered, Dad, we're safe now? Daniel nodded. Yeah, baby, I think we are. Eleanor felt tears sting her eyes. She turned slightly so they wouldn't see. Sometimes, the greatest miracles begin with the smallest decisions, like noticing a father ordering only water for his kids. And sometimes, the moment you choose kindness becomes the moment someone's entire life changes. 3 months later, Daniel was not only thriving at the company, he had been promoted. Evan and Lily often visited the office, filling the halls with laughter. They were eating well, living well, smiling again. And Eleanor? She found herself smiling more, too, because helping them healed a part of her she didn't know was broken. And everyone who heard their story cried, not from sadness, but from the reminder that kindness still exists. Great to hear that you like the story. If you want more stories like this, liking and subscribing is a wonderful way to show your support and stay updated on new content.